Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber and I create farmhouse inspired home decor, and I'm so happy to have you here. If you continue to enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing and hit that notification bell. But if you're not new, hey doll, hey. So in today's video, I'm super excited to be sharing some of my favorite and best fall home decor DIYs that I've shared on my channel. So I really hope you guys do enjoy this as I kick off the fall season. I cannot wait to show you all the new stuff I have in store coming very, very soon. All right, dolls, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, to kick off this video, I am starting with this pumpkin autumn wreath. From Dollar Tree, I'm going to be using some pumpkins, some wood planks, some florals, and a willow wreath. I'll remove the pumpkins off of the ribbon, and then I'm going to use my crystal colored chalk paint as well as agave chalk paint and cover these pumpkins as well as the sides. First, I'll paint all three pumpkins using that agave color, and then I'm going to go over it with the crystal chalk paint color. And I did 2 coats for each color. I also left a small little area where you would find a stem of a pumpkin just to give it more of like a 3D kind of effect. In the end, I didn't really care for it too much, but I still painted that portion using my truffle color chalk paint. As those are drying, I'm going to take one of those wood planks, and then I'm just going to use my antique wax color and a foam brush and paint that. And then I took a little chippy brush and some white acrylic paint, and then I'm going to give my pumpkins a little bit more definition by just kind of doing a mid to heavy dry brushing or mid to light dry brushing on these pumpkins just to give them definition of those like curves that the pumpkins do have. I also have this Hello Autumn wood word from a pack from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue that I'm going to glue that to my wood plank. I first hot glued the 3 pumpkins together and then on top of the wood plank, and then I used some super glue gel to attach the wood word, and then I have a small raffia bow to go on the middle pumpkin, and then some small little greenery leaf pieces to go on the side pumpkins just to hide a little bit of that stem that I really didn't like at the bottom part. So yeah, but anyways, now that my insert is complete, I'm going to put together my wreath, and I'm just going to use some of this eucalyptus. I think I got these, actually, yeah, I did get these from the Dollar Tree last year. I was actually really surprised that they looked like this because usually these florals you can find at Walmart. It's really good quality, but I used 3 bunches of those eucalyptus, and I love the different shades of fall colors they are as far as like the leaves, like greens and oranges and browns. So I just kind of stuck those in at the top of my wreath and then hot glued a bow that I made. I'm not going to put you guys through the torture of watching me make a bow because I'm terrible at it. Then I just hot glued my pumpkin trio insert on the bottom of that wreath, and this is complete. I absolutely love this. I've loved all of my fall wreaths that I made last year, and I hope you do too. Next up, I have this blessed planter is what I'm calling. So from Dollar Tree, I have a candlestick holder and one of these like shadow box, like I think you can use it for like storage or something, and a blessed word. I just painted the blessed word white as well as my candlestick holder, and then I'm using some craft sticks to cut down the size to fit inside of the shadow box so that way it has a flat edge or flat bottom. And then I'm going to use my antique wax color and then just paint all of that on there. And then after that's dry, I just hot glued my candlestick holder to the bottom or underneath what the tray would be now. And then I use some super glue gel to attach the blessed word onto the front of that box. Then I'm going to use just an assortment of greenery and pumpkins that I have got. I think a lot of these pumpkins came from Walmart and Hobby Lobby. So I'm just kind of randomly placing them, hot gluing some pieces down just so they could stay and it would be like one complete piece. I just think it came out really cute and it's super easy to create. Next up, I have another fall wreath, and this is by far one of my favorite ones. I keep it up all autumn or fall season. So from Dollar Tree, last year they had like these picture rounds that you could just attach pictures with some clothespins on these rows, but I just cut those down, and then I have these eyeballs from Dollar Tree during Halloween, and I don't really celebrate Halloween and I don't really craft for it, so these are actually pretty perfect to use for this wreath. And I just drilled holes through the middle of them to be able to shimmy them through this now wreath form. I just cut that wreath in half to try to, get the balls through. And I think I used a whole pack of balls. Maybe I had 4 left over. And then I just used some wire, some floral wire to hold my wreath closed where I cut it open. And the best way to get these balls to stay in place, I noticed that using some wood glue actually worked the best. It didn't move after that at all. I attempted to spray paint this using some heirloom white spray paint from Rust-Oleum, but it didn't work right. I probably need to do like 3 or 4 coats, but I didn't have that much paint left. So I ended up taking some acrylic paint, and I think this is like some caramel color or something like that. But I love the color that it turned out to be. I did 2 coats and let it dry in between. And then I'm just using an assortment of fall florals that I picked up from Walmart. Actually, I absolutely love using eucalyptus for fall, so that's what I am using on majority of my wreaths. And then just some pumpkins and some berries and burlap leaves and stuff like that, and it just came together really, really cute. Next DIY is by far the easiest, and it's a fall mason jar. So I have this standing mason jar from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut out Fall Sweet Fall from my Cricut Joy. If you don't have a cutting machine, you can also use rub-on transfers or even the sticker letters, like the poster letter stickers from the Dollar Tree. And so all I did is put that on there, and then I just wrapped some twine around the top, some jute twine, and that is pretty much it for this one. Super adorable, really cute, like table and even tier tray decor. Next, I have this blue truck fall sign, and this is more of like a inspired dupe from Kirkland's. So I took a wood round that I actually purchased from Amazon, but you can find wood rounds at the Dollar Tree now. And I just painted this. I gave this one good coat of some white chalk paint. And then I'm taking one of those trucks, those wooden trucks from the Dollar Tree, and just breaking one part in half. And I'm going to use some blue kazoo or Admiral blue acrylic color and like a gray color. And what I did is made a blue truck, and then I just painted my wheels gray. And I also painted the top of the truck using some brown acrylic paint. Then I took an assortment of leaves, like those wood laser cutouts that Dollar Tree has, and I just painted those using some orange and some red. I just kept it really traditional fall colors, like fall leaf colors. And then I went to my Cricut again and cut out a few phrases: apple cider, bonfire, hayrides, so on and so forth. And I just kind of put them down in a semicircle on it to my wood round, and then hot glued the rest of my pieces, and then put a little hanger on the back with some jute twine and a craft stick. And that's it for this one. I think it's adorable. It's super easy to create, and it looks like the Kirkland's one. Next up, I have this pumpkins wood round, and I'm actually using this farmer's market calendar from the Dollar Tree last year and another wood round. So I'm going to take my antique wax color, and then I'm just going to paint around the edge of my wood round because I'm actually going to use this one of the calendar pages, and it's going to cover the middle, so I didn't need to paint the whole thing. So what I did to get the distressed kind of look on this, I mixed some of my coffee grounds. I have a Keurig, so I use a K-cups and some water, and I just kind of, rough up my edges on my sign, and just if I have tears or wrinkles, that's all the better. I just love this, vintage and antique look to it. So I just kept doing that until my eyes were happy, and then I used some Mod Podge to place my page down onto the middle of my wood round, and then use some more Mod Podge on the edge. I had some more tears come off, but that made me even happier because it just kind of went really well with it. It made it look like it just was kind of seeped into there. And then I took my finger sander and just sanded down some of the paper after the Mod Podge dried, just to get it have that more finished weathered look. And then I took some more of my paint and just kind of painted all around the picture, and then took some half wood beads and just hot glued those down around the edge of the wood round. And that's it for this. I just love the detail on this, and I just think it's so adorable and it's so unique. For another easy DIY, I have this acorn sign. So from Dollar Tree, I have a pack of acorns and a just standalone picture or sign that you can get from Dollar Tree. Just took off the pieces on the front as far as the twine and the clothespin go. And then I tried my best to sand down the paper that was on the front. It took me a while, but it did what I needed to do, and now I have a blank canvas. And I gave that sign 2 coats of white chalk paint. Now for my acorns, I'm actually painting 3 of them using my antique wax color and 1 of them using Harvest Orange acrylic paint color. I thought I was going to use that caramel light brown, but I didn't need to use it in the end. So after all of my pieces were painted, I took some white rope, and I just made some simple bows and hot glued those on the top front of my acorns, and then positioned my acorns the way I want it on my sign, and just hot glued those down. And that is it. Super cute. Again, table and tier tray decor. Up, I am making a really elaborate floral tobacco basket. So I already had this tobacco basket from Target's Dollar Spot a year prior, and it was already painted brown. So all I did was just reuse it and just hot glue some florals on here, because I think I used the tobacco basket for a Christmas DIY a couple years back. So I have some green eucalyptus, of course, and just an assortment of other fall florals, some mums, some little berries, some acorns or pine cones, and just some other random things, as well as a pumpkin. I just hot glued those in place till my eyes were happy. And then I have this gather word that I got from a front of a sign from the Dollar Tree, and I just took that off and then painted it white and hot glued it on the front. And that's it for this one. Super cute. You can dress it down, dress it up, take little florals out. And since I feel like my style is changing just a little bit more, I would probably just remove the eucalyptus greenery and just keep it really farmhouse simple and chic, but I still love the way this turned out. Next, I have what I called a solo flowers sign. So from the Dollar Tree, I had these 3 shadow box signs that had the words in the middle, and I just kind of took them off and then tried to break apart the border so that I could just get that flat backing up there. I just cut it down to size to where I had a nice, even, rectangle. After I did have those rectangles, I painted those using my moss chalk paint color from Waverly. Gave everything just one coat. Went to my Cricut and cut out the phrase Home Sweet Home using some white acrylic paint. I think I used my Cricut Maker for this. And then I just transferred those over using some Cricut transfer tape. Then sanded down the edges and everything just so I can get more of a farmhouse look to it that I love. Then I took a couple of the border pieces that came off of one of the signs, and I'm going to use them as a vehicle to hot glue all three of my plaques on there. So basically I just lined it up and hot glued it down where I needed to using the same supplies that came with one of the signs. Then I'm going to take a couple of paint stir sticks, paint them white, and hot glue them together, and then be able to hot glue all of my solo wood florals on there using my oranges, greens, and blues that I love for some fall colors, and just hot glued some more flowers just to, till my eyes were happy with the look of it, and then just hot glued that to the back, and then attached it with a hanger of some jute cord. And that's it for this one. I think it's super adorable, really cute, really easy, a lot of components, but it still turned out really nice. Next, I'm making a really quick and easy, colorful Love Sweet Fall beaded garland. So the colors I'm using are blue, orange, and green. I thought I was going to use the brown, but I decided just to keep some of the beads that natural wood color. So the way I like to paint my beads is to put them in a little sandwich or a snack baggie, and then put the paint in there, swish them around, shake them up just a bit, and then roll them around inside of like a box or something to get the excess paint off. And then I also painted that tag using some white acrylic paint. Once everything was dry, it was ready for me to assemble. So what I normally do when I fish through beads now, I use a threading needle. I didn't have one at this time, so I just had like tape on the end of my jute cord. So yeah, it was a struggle back then, right, guys? Have we come a long way, and I've learned so much. But anyways, I just alternated my beads in no particular pattern or fashion, really. Just, you know what I'm saying, kept going till my eyes were happy. And then to make my tassel, I just wrap the twine around my hands a bunch of times, tie it off in the middle at the top, and then tie it to where I can get my little knot at the top, and then cut that down on the end, so I can get the frayed look to it, and then cut it down even more to make it even. And then I just went to my Cricut Joy Again, cut out the phrase Love Sweet Fall, transferred that over using some transfer tape to the front of that tag, and then tied my twine through the front of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I gave it a little bit more detail using some black paint on the edge just to give it just some more definition and make it look really complete. And that's it. I really love how this turned out. Super rustic and farmhouse. For the next DIY, I have this pumpkin patch sign, and I really love the way it turned out. So from Dollar Tree, I have a Farm Fresh fall sign and some pumpkins on a ribbon. Just turn that to the back and remove the staples, and then cover the front of the sign using some brown craft paper. And then I'm just going to, I like to make faux shiplap lines by using my ruler and a box cutter, and just, doing some, scoring some lines down there. And then I painted it white. I gave it 2 coats of white chalk paint, I believe. And then I painted my pumpkins using green, blue, and orange. I mixed a little bit of orange with the brown just to get a darker kind of color to it. And then I painted my stems using some brown acrylic paint. I wanted my sign just a little bit darker, so I went back with some truffle chalk paint color, and then I did a really heavy dry brushing over it, but in the end I really didn't like it too much, so I tried to sand it down just a little bit more, and then I ended up just doing more heavy dry brushing of some white paint on top, and it came out what I was looking for. And then for all these Dollar Tree signs, I love having a border on them. So a lot of times when you go to Dollar Tree, they have some signs that have borders on them. I always save those when I take them off of signs, depending on what I'm making. And then that way, if I make a sign that I want a border, I can just paint them whatever color I want and then glue them on, which is what I did here. I painted them white, and then I'm just going to hot glue them down onto my sign to get my border, and then hot glue down my pumpkins in the way that I want, just, whatever way that makes you happy. And you know what I do? I always do it till my eyes are happy. Then I made a couple of raffia bows, hot glued those at the top underneath the stem, and then put pumpkin patch open daily from my Cricut. And that is it for this one. Super adorable, really easy, and I just love all of the colors. Next up, we're making some rustic pumpkins, and I really love these. So from Dollar Tree, I have these spaced out or spaced cut or something. Spaced out. I don't know what they are, honestly. I think it's just like table decor for like a little boy's room or something. But I'm just going to use the back side. So I'm going to take off the tag and sand down as well as I can so that you can't see the tag, and then paint both of these using some white chalk paint. And then I used this fall looking... The colors I was going for, it was the scrapbooking paper from Hobby Lobby, and I just applied that on my first pumpkin using some Mod Podge. I use a generous amount, and I'm going to let that dry before I sand it down. And then for the next pumpkin, I'm going to take some red, orange, and brown and do some lines, some painting lines on it. So I'm just going to take some painter's tape and just tape off a couple of sections where I want the lines. Of course, I messed up a few times, but it's okay. I can go back and fix it. And then I just use that brown to actually do a little bit of distressing on the edges, and then sanded it down using my finger sander to get that nice rustic look that I love. And then after my scrapbooking paper pumpkin was all dry, I just cut that down and used my finger sander to shave off any more or excess paper, and then use my chippy brush and that brown acrylic paint again to give it a little bit more definition and more distressing on the edge. And then for my pumpkin stems, I'm going to take some of these. You can find them at Dollar Tree. They're just like little wood stems. They usually come out during like spring. So I just have like a couple of bags stashed away. And then again, I have some raffia bows that I just cut down to size and just hot glued those right on the front. And that's it for these. I think these are adorable, and I feel like you can make anything out of pumpkins, to be perfectly honest. Next up, I'm making a little red truck. I am not a huge fan of the little red truck, but I thought I had to make one for fall. So from Dollar Tree, I have a little truck, some mini hay bales, and some pumpkins, some orange and white buffalo check pumpkins. So I'm going to just paint my truck using the red acrylic paint. I just painted the entire thing. I just kind of went to town on it. I also painted the inside of my truck using some white acrylic paint, and then went back and gave my truck a little bit more definition with my brown acrylic paint color, and just kind of sanded down, so I was happy with the look of things. I am so sorry about all the screaming, y'all. Hold on. After I was done with my truck, then I just hot glued down my mini hay bales and my pumpkins in the place that I wanted. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I think it came out really cute. And even though I'm not a fan of the little red truck, I think I did it justice. my last DIY in this video, I'm making this fall checklist using a pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. I just removed everything from the pumpkin and I gave that 2 coat paints of a white chalk paint. You want to say hi? Say hi.
No.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, let me finish. After that, I have a cork board sheet that you can get from the Dollar Tree. They've had these for a while. I just cut that down to size to like a simple square, and then I went to my Cricut and I did the writing image of what a fall checklist would look like, and I did that on just some white cardstock. To attach those 2 pieces to my pumpkin, I'm just going to use some like gold thumbtacks that I'm going to paint black. And then I used a chippy brush and some brown acrylic paint and just distressed my pumpkin all on the edges and went on the inside. I also added some red in there because I just love brown and red together for fall. And then I have 2 different beaded garlands that I'm thinking about using for my stem. But first I am going to place down my cork sheet and put that in the middle and figure out what color I wanted to use as far as my beaded garland goes. And I decided on the colorful orange and red and kind of brown one. And all I did was take off the little beads and just hot glue them individually down onto the stem. Yes, it took a while, but I got the hang of it after a bit. And then once that was done, then I just placed down my sheet, my fall sheet, checklist sheet, with those black thumbtacks. Just hot glued those down into place and then attached a small piece of twine to the top for my hanger, and that's it for this one. Super adorable, really fun and interactive for kids to check off, or even for adults. That's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be blessed, stay safe, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.